Oh my God, that was a horrible first thing for people to see. Like Jake standing over a dead body. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Top of the Table. It's Top of the
It's
Table
like
after
that
dark.
scene from The Bad Lieutenant.
Ooh, Top of the Table after dark here. It's 10 o'clock Central Time as we record on Sunday. Brian here with Mark in LA, and then Hank and Jake over in the East Coast. Decision day is here. Hank, do you need Jake? You need time chopping up a body or something? Or?
Dexter, we were trying to fix one of my lamps, and apparently it just doesn't work anymore. So,
Did you try turning it off and turning it back on?
Did you
cycle the power?
That's not the issue. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're like 90% sure we're just going to buy a new goddamn lamp because I'm just sick of it.
Did Bob Kraft sell it to you?
Not that I'm aware of, but
Wait, so
I don't know.
Are you whining that something doesn't work?
Either I need to get a new light bulb that I've never seen before that came with the lamp, or the lamp is shot. I haven't figured it out yet. I only fiddled with it for like 30 seconds.
How many Revs fans does it take to change a light bulb? Too many, because they're all going to complain about it.
Hey, speaking of Revs fans and complaining, how much
I know where this
guys
is going.
love your owner right now, considering the events of the last week?
What events are those?
It was MLS to ATX.
Oh, yeah, that's not our owner. That's somebody else.
I know, but I'm saying in comparison, how much do you love Kraft now compared to pre-cum?
I mean, look, just because you
drop 5 minutes, Mark. Ask for 5 minutes.
Just because Kraft drops to like number 2 in the bad owner power rankings doesn't mean that we've forgiven him. We just have a new punching bag that the league is focused on.
Yeah.
You didn't hear your answer. He's still laughing over what he said. He's popping for his own joke.
Sorry.
Precourt, I honestly don't know what the big deal is. He hasn't done anything yet. He's just said, hey, I'm thinking about moving. He's totally positioning himself to get into a battle with Columbus, so Columbus forks up some cash.
Well, right. This is also, he said in 2013 that the town had the resources and this was the perfect environment, for the team and to be there. So
which town is that?
Columbus.
Yeah.
So I do think there was some posturing because, quite frankly, I don't know that Austin really gives two squats about having a professional team.
I don't think
the first time he had one.
There's about 25 people in Austin who care, and they're all really vocal on Twitter. And I think they're taking the whole Russian bot thing to the next level. But aside from that, was there this much uproar when AEG shut down San Jose and moved to Houston?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But, I mean, there was like the 25 Earthquake fans that were making the same amount of noise.
Right.
No, I mean, it was bad for the Quakes. A lot of those guys were pissed off. And I do think, that led eventually to them getting their team back. So it worked out for them in the end.
Right.
The league was also in a much different. The league was also in a much different spot 10 years ago than it was now.
Right.
I think that's the biggest issue. It's like, why did Chivas fold? Well, Chivas folded because that was kind of sort of another bad concept, bad ownership, bad idea. We're talking about a franchise that up until this year was more or less the heart and soul of the U.S. men's national team against Mexico, and a team that had been to MLS Cup 2 years ago. We're not talking about some fledgling team that's going to fold 5-10 years down the road. No, we're talking about a team that's been around since the beginning. And it's not it's a team that's just like, oh, we're going to move so we can make more money. That's not why you move a team for soccer. You move a franchise because you think you're going to make more money. When was the last time a sports franchise moved and significantly started making a hell of a lot more money? All the NFL teams this year suck.
Yeah. It's not
a lot of the hockey teams suck. I don't understand why you're still thinking, oh, we can move to a slightly better small market and succeed. And okay. I don't understand it here.
Okay, hold on. Jake raises a couple.
Hey, camera's on.
I know. Sorry. Jake raises a couple of good points here. One, Columbus is an MLS 1.0 team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're playing in an MLS 1.0, 1.5 stadium.
1.5.
2, I don't know that the Columbus Crew are the heart and soul of the men's national team versus
Columbus
Mexico.
is. I think Jake meant to say the city of Columbus.
I know.
Just that game. No, they're not the heart and soul of the U.S.
That stadium's still going to be there. They can play there anytime. Third point, I do agree with. Moving a city, you don't move a team. Well, let me say, you do move a team for financial purposes.
Yep.
But you don't expect to make a whole lot of money. See,
Not for the
Chargers
first 5 years.
No, and that's the challenge for Precourt. I think is he is legitimately losing money on the Crew, and that is a fact. And he doesn't want to do that anymore. When does he have how long does he have the team? 4 years. He's put a ton of money into rebranding, not rebranding so much, but the whole the new logo, the new Crew Soccer Club, whatever you want to call it. He spent some money on that. He bought them a new stadium scoreboard after the last one caught on fire, which that's something. But I think this is all posturing right now. And let the uproar from the rest of the Twitterati out there. I don't understand it because he hasn't done anything yet. Nothing has been set in stone. Nothing is written there. We saw this, and for Jake and I, who've gone through this back in 1990, was it 97, Jake, when Kraft was posturing to move the team out to Eastern New York? I mean Hartford.
I don't speak about the Hartford Patriots.
No, but you remember when that happened?
It happened the same time the Hartford Whalers left. And I don't speak about that either. So Hank has already brought up 2 of the 5 worst memories of my sporting career. Thank you.
They misspelled Baylor's on your T-shirt.
Hey, Jake.
Yeah.
How much are you getting paid for the Blair Witch remake?
Blair Witch Part 3.
Wait, hold on. There was a second Blair Witch?
There was?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When?
Oh, hey, the fourth point I wanted to make is Jake knows about teams shutting down because he used to work for one.
This is true.
Which team was that?
Baseball team.
The independent Bridgeport Bluefish of Connecticut.
The city shut them down.
Wait, the Bluefish of Connecticut? Really? That was a thing? Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
The city decided not to renew their lease
now
or something.
They're going to turn it into an amphitheater right next to the 8,000 seat stadium.
Was that like a 7A ball club, or how many A's were in that?
No way. That was why I said independent. So it's like,
Didn't Freddie Prinze do a movie about whatever league that's in? Where they were all,
Oh yeah, Jessica Biel was in the pool wet.
Oh, that was the Cape Cod League.
there you go.
yes, the summer.
All right.
league.
Her boobs are almost as big as Siggy's.
So let's transition from there into today's decision day. game.
MLS playoffs bracket are
Brought to you by
Last place.
See, this is where every show turns into the skit where they would do the women's bowling on Saturday Night Live, and it was always sponsored by some feminine hygiene product, and it would turn into all these
Douche
you know
jokes.
one-liners about douche and stuff like that, and it's kind of where our show has turned into. I can't believe we took a 3-year break. So today was decision day. My team that employs me.
Dude, we tried. I mean, I don't think we could have handed it to you guys any better than we did.
No,
I mean,
Dallas
holy
Dallas
God.
beating LA 5-1 here in Dallas. LA scoring in the first 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Your man Ciani.
Yeah. And he peacocked. Or he didn't peacock.
I think he was like unsure what to do afterwards.
Yeah. But then he
But then-
peacocked when he gave up a couple more.
Yeah, he did give up a couple more. If you have a chance, go back, visit our show October 1st. We talk about my trip to LA, and the same Manciani gave up 3 of the 4 goals, one terribly, and he is known for the peacock.
Oh my God.
Yes. So Dallas needed to win. They needed San Jose to tie or lose, and they get a goal in
93rd minute, 92nd minute.
in Fergie time, 5 minutes of extra time there in Minnesota. I will say it today, though. I said this to somebody. If Dallas doesn't send out a questionable lineup at Minnesota, they don't lose 4-1. Dallas doesn't send a questionable lineup at Seattle last week, they don't get drubbed 4-0. You can point to plenty of times over the second half of the season where it's been just a massive, historic, titanic bed shitting, as Mark likes to use, to a team that everybody thought was going to win MLS Cup, and they just didn't do it. So whenever you need to beat LA and you have to worry about somebody else to win on the final day of the season, you don't deserve to be in that spot.
And
God,
this was the wins tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
Like you had the same number of points as San Jose, but you had like 1 or 2 less wins or something.
Right, but but FC Dallas had the goal differential was +20 over San Jose.
Right, but that's not the first tiebreaker anymore.
Right.
Which I'm actually okay with. No, I'm sorry that it affects your team, but
Doesn't affect me. I don't care.
no.
I've been rooting for Toronto since the All-Star break.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a crazy day out there. Lots of late goals. It was fun.
Lots of late goals. What I want to ask you guys, what did you think about the whole process of the idea of starting all the games at one time?
I hate it.
Why'd you hate it?
Because you can't watch all of them at the same time.
Did it create any extra drama for you? Not necessarily as a Revs fan, but as a soccer fan. Like, we had the San Jose game up on the press box.
Yeah.
While watching this, because we had one eye on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that mattered this weekend was the.
Was that a Serrano joke?
No, it was not.
Apparently, it was tomorrow.
But does it matter though, Brian?
No.
Wow. No, I mean, for everybody else out in the East, I mean, the East was locked up. It's just a matter of who is playing who, etc. But for us watching New England versus Montreal, the only thing there was Revolution going to finally get their away game. So they could make it through a season without not make it throughout the entire season without winning away on the road, and they finally did, thanks to Kellen Rowe and his triumphant return to the pitch and a beautiful Galazzo, which is probably goal of the year for the Revs, in my opinion. But
so as we look at the standings, Toronto captures the Supporter Shield. The East basically finished the same way whenever it started. There was nothing to be determined. Toronto, NYFC 2nd, Chicago Fire 3rd, Atlanta 4th, Columbus 5th, Red Bull 6th. New England finishing in 7th, 5 points behind at 45 points. In the West, Portland comes back, wins the West. Seattle
that was shocking.
Yeah. Vancouver 3rd, Dynamo 4th, Kansas City 5th, and then Earthquakes, as we discussed.
Vancouver finishing 3rd is
shocking.
perhaps not as staggering maybe as FC Dallas missing the playoffs, but pretty damn staggering.
Well, they finished 1 point behind. Portland and Seattle were tied 53,
Yeah.
and then Vancouver at 52. And still that would have put them 5th in the East, which is still very quietly down. We talked about that a couple shows ago. Vancouver very sneakily, quietly moving up in the West.
Yeah. And you look at the Philadelphia doing 6-1 over Orlando.
Yeah.
God, Orlando's a mess.
Yeah, but it means absolutely nothing, obviously.
No, but it's still, you want to end, even if you're a bad team, like New England, all right, missed playoffs, you go and you beat Montreal on the road, who's the only team you can beat on the road anyway, and all right, it's fine. But you want to at least build towards something. Like, I don't think New England or Philadelphia or Dallas or even RSL, I don't think that they're all completely bad, but there's a lot of work that needs to get done next year.
Yeah, and Orlando needs a lot of work. Yep. So did he play all the kids today, or what happened?
Kaká announced that he wasn't coming back. He didn't travel today.
He didn't travel. So this is Philadelphia's last game at home, and they went to town.
So, hold on. What was that? I had a stat. San Jose gets in with a -21 goal differential.
Oh, crap.
Orlando City had a -19. DC United led with a -29. Galaxy -22. But then you look at the opposite end of the spectrum. Toronto FC with a plus 37. Atlanta in fourth place with a plus 30. Holy cow. So let's look at your playoff breakdowns.
Yep.
I'm very, very unhappy at the East.
You got Vancouver versus San Jose, Houston versus Kansas City. Remember when Houston and Kansas City both used to be in the East?
The East, yeah.
And everybody said that the East wasn't good enough. Man, what happened?
23 teams. And by the way, congratulations to LA to be the first team to finish 22nd.
Yeah.
Nice. Well done, guys.
Here we go in the West. Vancouver, San Jose.
Vancouver, San Jose. Who do you pick?
Vancouver.
Hank?
I'm going to go with Vancouver. We're going to
Jake?
see Portland, Vancouver in the Western Conference semi.
I mean, you have to take Vancouver, but of all the teams that I don't think Vancouver wants to see right now, it's the Earthquakes, because of all what the Earthquakes are going to do is what the Earthquakes always do.
They're not going to get 5 minutes of extra time in every game to win.
Well, no, but that's what I mean. But like, they're going to score late. They're going to take you to extra time. Like, Vancouver didn't want to be in the first round at all. They wanted to bye. They didn't get it. Now they got to play probably the one team that I don't think they match up all that well against. I don't know. I mean, you're gonna take Vancouver because they could be the number one team in the West. But as far as them going farther than this, that's not good.
Who are you taking, Jake?
Taking Vancouver, but I'm not happy about
You
it.
son of a bitch.
Not happy about it.
Sweep it with Vancouver.
Mhm.
Move over to the other game. Houston Sporting KC. Mark.
Houston. AJ De La Garza. Brown
Hank.
Power.
I'm going to go Kansas City.
Jake.
Can I root for the Meteor? Is that an option?
Probably in the conference semis, yeah.
All right, fine. I'll take Kansas City.
Clint Dempsey won't be in that semifinal, by the way, unless they
I know.
appeal that card.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take Houston there.
I don't think there's a wrong answer in that game. That might be the best game of the entire first.
I don't know how Houston got in, to be honest. I mean,
Consistency.
For a while, they were top of the table.
yeah, they weren't doing too badly, were they?
No,
Consistency,
Conference,
man.
Chicago,
Just like
New York, Mark,
I thought Dallas was top of the table. Wait.
Which New York?
Red Bulls.
Against Chicago?
Yep.
I'm going to go with Chicago.
Hank,
I hate the Fire. I'm going to go with Red Bulls.
Jake,
You're welcome, Mark Fishkin.
I want to see Red Bulls NYCFU in the semifinals, so I'm taking Red Bulls.
You won't. It's the winner of Columbus versus Atlanta.
yeah, I'd be in the conference finals, and they wouldn't get that
Oh,
far.
I thought they reseed.
I don't think so.
No.
Oh, it doesn't matter if Red Bulls are sixth. Oh no, I'm still gonna take the Red Bulls, but damn it.
Well, so Toronto will
Oh, wait
play
a minute.
the
Hold on. They
lowest.
do. Yeah.
Toronto
First-
play the
first
lowest
seed.
seed to advance from the knockout round. So yeah,
Right.
so
Toronto would play
Right,
the lowest.
the lowest seed would be
That's
New
what got
York.
ruined. I
New York
remember
win.
tweeting
They play
about it.
Toronto.
Right.
I wanted Red Bulls in New York City at some point in the first or semifinal round, and then I wanted Atlanta and Toronto FC in the final. And the odds of that happening now are like nil.
So who do you pick for this game?
Red Bulls.
Holy balls.
Although
Okay.
it's unfortunate because if we could have the Red Bull versus the CFC dickbags, then we could have that one fat LARPer fighting underneath the subway again. That'd be good to see.
What?
Take the fire. Atlanta United versus Columbus Crew.
Atlanta.
Hank.
I think the virtual Atlanta referee will come into play on that one and give Atlanta the win because I think Arthur Blank has written a bunch of checks this year and he wants to go all the way.
All right, Jake, I'm going to ask you a question, and you're either going to say Atlanta or Columbus. If you say more than one
Atlanta.
word, I'm going to boot your ass out of here.
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Hashtag save the crew.
Speaking of Atlanta, what they did crazy attendance today.
They did set another record today.
It was like 75,000 or
It
something.
was 71,824,
Jesus.
which broke the previous standalone game of 70,245, which is against Orlando, which we talked about
Are they giving them all free Falcons tickets when they show? I mean, just wondering how they get all these people to
And
come.
Atlanta raised their season average to 48,200.
And you got to remember, half of those games were at that football stadium, which I don't know what that capacity was, but it was only like, what, 30
Georgia
maybe?
Tech, yeah.
Yeah.
So that tops Seattle's 2015 record of 44,247, and it's an all-time record, topping the New York Cosmos of 1978 at 48,000.
And you know what?
Wow.
Atlanta's fans are not douchey about it the way Seattle fans were. Just saying.
Well, Seattle invented soccer.
Well, yeah.
Right.
I have a friend that lives in Atlanta, and I didn't realize he was a soccer fan, and I called him last week about a completely separate thing, and he said, hey, you watch any soccer? I said, well, yeah, of course. And he knew he just is on fire for that team. And he's like, I've got season tickets. We're doing this when so gets back in the lineup. I was like, holy cow. But to build on Mark's point, he wasn't douchey about it. All right. Let's wrap up decision day. Mark, did you like all the games going at one time?
Yeah, I had no problem with it. The only problem I have is that no team should have had a game in hand as of 4 weeks ago, and several did. That's my only issue.
Jake?
Yeah, I think it's that old tradition of, like, the World Cup games, you always go off at the same time. I have no problem with the final day of the season going off at the same time. So,
There were 42 goals scored today.
is that a record?
Yep.
Shocking.
5 against the Galaxy.
Yeah. One was a PK. By the way, Clement Job was peacocking before the whistle was even blown. Took out Roland Lamar.
He got up.
He
Peacock.
just got up. Was walking. The ball was still in play behind him. They almost scored.
And he's still
And I get a
peacock.
text from Mark that just says, in all caps, you have a player named Llama? I'm like, no, it's Lamah. It's not. Mark has a fascination with llamas, if anybody here is watching or familiar. Oh, but look, nobody's watching and nobody is familiar. So with that, we're gonna wrap it up. Jake's got to get under a blankie and go to sleep.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so wait.
When do the playoffs actually start? This weekend or next weekend?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday is the play-in match.
Yeah, and that was one of the things we talked about last year, is that Seattle won a play-in game and came in the very next round, played FC Dallas and beat them, because we discussed that's a team that basically gets a build momentum.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Wednesday and Thursday this week.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then Saturday, Sunday.
Mark, what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, I'm interested to see what teams need to do to rebuild for next year. I mean, for us, it's a matter of, I think, a scorched earth policy. Get rid of half the players and all the management. Keep Siggy and Dom. Keep Alessandrini and Leggett and a few other players. Get rid of everybody else. I mean, for Hank and Jake, rename the team the Patriots and they'll be fine. LAFC is going to come in and do what they do. I just wonder what the hell. Where are we at a point? Because we've got one more team entering the league next year. So we have an expansion draft. Player pool is getting thinner, and we're not getting that many great players coming out of college. So how are teams going to rebuild? How are teams going to get better? How is any of this going to happen without a huge outlay of cash?
I can guarantee you, I'll tell you how local team here is going to do it, is they're going to build through the academy. They want to spend any
Right.
cash.
Yeah, I know. But
Dan wait a while.
Dan Hunt sent out a tweet after the men's team was eliminated from World Cup qualifying, that he was going to do everything he could now to make sure that he helped develop the next group of American players, which means don't expect me to buy anybody that you've heard of before.
You're more likely to sell those two guys in Dallas and just take the cash and spread that around than you are to go out and buy more guys.
If you go and do your research, you'll find that MLS signed Maxi Arruti and assigned him to Toronto. So any sell of Maxi Arruti would have gone back to MLS.
Interesting.
Do your research.
Do you think Do you think Pareja's going to force Hunt into selling some kid that he's trafficking or buying some kid that he's trafficking out of South America?
No.
You don't think he'll try and force the hand and get, other, brown people to come in?
We want to talk about how we've got, a dozen or so homegrown players signed to our roster, but there's ends up being some random South American bon vivant that's going to revive his career here, and then he's gone in a year.
And
but
Christian Coleman, I don't expect him to come back this year, and he was supposed to be this huge, great find for us, and he never adapted to the league.
But I mean, everybody can look at a homegrown youth movement and look at LA and see how horribly it failed. I mean, there's just
I don't know that
everybody can also look here and look at the players that Jesse Gonzalez, Victor Ulloa.
This is turning into a session of who sucks more.
Right.
Well, no, but it's two different extremes. It's LA sucks because all their kids only play at LA too, and Dallas sucks because they sign all these homegrowns and they don't do anything with them. So
Weston McKinney they didn't sign, and he ended up going to Schalke. So
you weren't going to sign him, unfortunately. But it's
no, he wanted. They never offered him a deal. He wanted to be here.
Yeah, well then you're just idiots. But you look at not everyone has a homegrown market like LA or Dallas, Texas to tap into. Those are the two probably richest homegrown talents in the U.S. So you're going to have a lot of homegrown signings from LA, from California, from Texas, maybe even from Florida now. It's team like New England, who's been very good through the draft up until recently.
Can you guys lay claim to Nova Scotia, or is that Toronto?
Probably Toronto.
Okay.
We don't even get to lay claim to half of Connecticut because New York City, but yeah, I don't know. It's to Mark's point, it's you're right. It is you have to figure out a way to fill your roster. In New England, Hank, how many guys we in the roster with this year? 27, 26?
26.
And we started with 23.
22.
So yeah, you're looking at their MLS teams aren't even filling their rosters now, let alone a USL2 or an academy or all this other sort of stuff. So
and there's rumors that there are a bunch of MLS teams that are disappearing.
Yeah. So so that'll be interesting.
Which is something that Brian Below, president of Revolution, actually said in the preseason season ticket holder welcome event last year. He said, we think a lot of teams are going to be moving away from that because the Revs had basically ended their affiliation with Rochester, and they said we'll just loan kids out to wherever people need them, and do it that way. And it ended up a lot of kids didn't get to play this year. A couple of them got to play quite a bit in San Antonio, where Zach Hervo was, and Donnie Smith went to the Charlotte Independence, basically playing in his hometown. And they both got a lot of minutes down there, and they did really well. And Hervo went on to play for the Haitian national team, and he had a pretty good season considering he never got a start for a league game.
I don't think he got any MLS minutes. He got one U.S. Open Cup start. I don't think he had.
He didn't play in one MLS game.
I think Brian Wright got about 15 minutes. Donnie Smith got maybe 2 games.
Yep.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. There's no place for these kids to play across the board in the USL. After getting a major coup this year with USSF assigning NASL basically to the 3rd division. They got it made with their 2nd division, and yet they're losing a lot of their teams.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Hey, MLS Super Draft 2018 is going to be held when?
January 15th.
I assume it's late January, mid-late January.
It's going to be in Philadelphia.
Ooh, fun!
Yeah,
starting my mock draft research already.
Nice. When is the College Cup, Jake?
I have no idea.
God damn it!
Hey, congratulations, by the way, to the Portland Thorns winning the women's.
Yes, absolutely.
Title. Congratulations to them.
And
we got time for your plugs. Go ahead, Hank.
At Isco5. That's what I do.
Anything else?
No,
No midnight ride? No anything else?
I haven't done Midnight Ride in a couple years. Maybe it'll make a comeback someday.
Sounds familiar. Jake?
Midnight Ride After Dark.
Just remind me of Devin Howard in his
Google that, kids.
Winning Ugly.
No, don't. No, God, it's too late now. Bent Musket at the Bent Musket at JCatNeese43.
Mark, here come the musket joke.
No, hi. At the Mark Via. At the Mark Via on Twitter. That's me.
All right.
It's all good.
You can follow the show at Top of the Table TV on Twitter, topoftheTable.tv if you want to watch stuff nobody else does. What are you tickled about now?
Just looking at Jake, he's going to go polish his musket as soon as he hangs up.
The scarf a statue.
He's going to get all Serrano-eyed and pass out.
This week.
It's not Revs After Dark?
Didn't we do the hashtag? Save the crew.
What are we doing?
Midnight Ride After Dark.
50 Shades of Revs.
Jake's musket.
Sure.
What do we got? What do we need?
I don't know.
Revs
Scarf
After
and the
Dark?
statue.
There we go. Revs After Dark.
There we go.
No, nobody responds. Nobody listens. But you know what? We came back after 3 years, and we at least got this far. Hey, thanks for joining us. It's been a weird 35 minutes,
As
but
always.
we'll come back at some point before the season ends. I think. I hope. We'll see.
Yeah, let's do it.
MLS Cup preview spectacular.
Maybe. Follow along. Hashtag
Be
Revs
picked.
After Dark for Hank and Mark and Jake.
Sounders versus Toronto in MLS Cup right here.
God, I hope not. Oh, I just farted again.
Nice.
That's.
But I'm
where
definitely
that's where
going
we've
Toronto.
gone. All right, we're done.
I
We're
think
out.
it's gonna be Houston, Toronto.
I'm out.
Houston, Toronto.
Yeah.
That's bold.
What?
That's very bold.
Yeah.
Vancouver, Chicago.
Talk about a ratings bonanza.
Ooh. All right, guys. Have a good week. See you later.
Atlanta, Kansas City. Bye.